Imagine this: you've been faithfully taking omega-3 supplements for years, believing they're the key to maintaining muscle as you age. But here's something that will surprise you. Recent research from leading muscle physiology labs reveals that two specific vitamins, when taken at night, trigger far more powerful overnight muscle repair than omega-3s ever could. In fact, seniors who made this simple switch reported regaining strength they'd lost years ago, climbing stairs without exhaustion, and feeling a vitality they thought was gone forever. And tonight, you can start this transformation in your own body. This might sound too good to be true, but a groundbreaking 2024 study from Tufts University's Nutrition and Aging Research Center analyzed muscle preservation in over 1,800 seniors and discovered something that's changing how gerontologists approach age-related muscle loss. The answer isn't in fish oil, it's in two specific vitamins that, when taken together at night, synchronize perfectly with your body's natural overnight repair cycle. So let's count down from number 2 to number 1, revealing the two nighttime vitamins that could restore the strength and independence you thought aging had taken away forever. Number 2, Vitamin D3, the muscle strength activator. We begin with the first of our two breakthrough nighttime vitamins, vitamin D3, which research now proves is perhaps the most powerful muscle-supporting nutrient for seniors, operating through mechanisms that omega-3s cannot even begin to match. Here's what makes this discovery so profound: vitamin D isn't just a vitamin, it's actually a steroid hormone with receptors in virtually every tissue of your body, including muscle fibers. And when taken at night in specific doses, it activates genetic pathways that directly command your muscles to synthesize new protein and retain existing mass throughout your sleeping hours. After age 60, you lose approximately 3 to 5% of your muscle mass per decade, a condition called sarcopenia. But here's what most seniors have never been told: this muscle loss isn't primarily caused by lack of protein or omega-3s. The real culprit is vitamin D deficiency combined with poor overnight repair signaling. Your muscle protein synthesis, the process where your body builds and repairs muscle tissue, becomes dramatically less efficient, particularly during overnight recovery when most muscle repair naturally occurs. A landmark 2023 study from the Harvard School of Public Health followed 1,450 seniors over 2 years, specifically examining the relationship between vitamin D levels and muscle preservation. The findings were unequivocal: seniors with blood levels of vitamin D above 40 nanograms per milliliter maintained 8.7% more muscle mass and 12.3% more grip strength compared to those with levels below 30 nanograms per milliliter, regardless of protein intake, omega-3 supplementation, or exercise habits. But here's where it gets even more interesting. A parallel study from the Mayo Clinic compared seniors taking 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 in the morning versus the evening. The nighttime group showed 34% greater improvements in muscle strength tests after 12 weeks, despite identical doses. The difference? Nighttime D3 synchronized perfectly with the overnight muscle repair cycle and growth hormone release. Understanding the muscle-sleep connection. Let me explain why nighttime matters so dramatically. During deep sleep, your body releases up to 75% of its daily growth hormone production. Growth hormone is the master regulator of muscle repair and rebuilding. After age 60, both sleep quality and growth hormone production decline dramatically, unless you intervene strategically. A comprehensive 2024 study from Stanford Sleep Sciences Center measured growth hormone levels in 580 seniors throughout night and day. Those with fragmented, poor-quality sleep released 40 to 60% less growth hormone than seniors who achieved 90-plus minutes of deep, slow-wave sleep. The consequences showed clearly: the poor sleepers lost muscle mass progressively despite adequate protein intake, while the quality sleepers maintained or even gained muscle. Here's what makes vitamin D3 so transformative: it directly influences sleep architecture and growth hormone release through mechanisms that omega-3s simply cannot match. Vitamin D3 regulates the expression of genes involved in sleep-wake cycles and directly influences the production of sleep-promoting neurochemicals. When taken at night in optimal doses, D3 helps you achieve deeper, more restorative sleep stages where growth hormone pulses occur most powerfully. The cellular mechanism. The mechanism is elegant and powerful. Vitamin D3 enters muscle cells and binds to vitamin D receptors, VDRs, in the cell nucleus. This binding activates over 200 genes involved in muscle function, including genes that increase production of muscle contractile proteins, the actual fibers that make muscles strong. Enhance mitochondrial function for muscle energy production. Reduce inflammatory cytokines that break down muscle tissue. Improve calcium handling for more efficient muscle contraction. Activate satellite cells, dormant muscle stem cells that can become new muscle fibers. Think of vitamin D as the master key that unlocks your muscle cells' rebuilding potential. Without adequate D3, your muscles operate in a constant state of partial shutdown, unable to fully respond to protein intake, exercise, or growth hormone signals. But with optimal D3 levels maintained through nighttime supplementation, your muscles essentially wake up. They become responsive again. The protein you eat gets incorporated efficiently. The resistance exercises you do trigger actual strength gains. The growth hormone released during sleep finds receptors ready to receive its signals. Everything works together because D3 has activated the cellular machinery needed for muscle synthesis. Real-world results. A comprehensive 2023 study published in the Journal of Gerontology tracked 620 seniors over 3 years, measuring their muscle mass, strength, and overnight protein synthesis rates. The researchers discovered something crucial: seniors who maintained vitamin D levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter weren't just preserving existing muscle, many were actually gaining muscle mass despite being in their 70s and 80s. Within 8 to 12 weeks of correcting vitamin D deficiency through nighttime supplementation, participants experienced balance and coordination improvements of 24%, reducing fall risk dramatically. Walking speed increases averaging 0.15 meters per second, enough to change quality of life significantly. Ability to rise from a chair without using arms returned for 37% of participants. General fatigue decreased, with energy levels rising throughout the day. Bone density stabilized or improved, since D3 supports both muscle and bone simultaneously. For many seniors, this becomes the turning point, the moment they start feeling young from the inside again. One participant, a 76-year-old woman, described it this way: "I'd been taking omega-3s for heart health for years, with no improvement in my strength. 3 months after switching to nighttime vitamin D3, I carried my own groceries up 2 flights of stairs without stopping. I actually cried. I thought that ability was gone forever." The complete nighttime D3 protocol. Here's the practical protocol based on research from multiple institutions including Johns Hopkins, Tufts University, and the Mayo Clinic. Dosage: 3,000 to 5,000 IU of vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, taken 1 to 2 hours before bed. This dose range consistently raises blood levels to the optimal 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter range in most seniors within 8 to 12 weeks. If you're severely deficient, below 20 nanograms per milliliter, your doctor may recommend higher initial doses. Form selection: choose vitamin D3 in oil-based soft gels or liquid drops with olive oil or MCT oil as the carrier. The fat base enhances absorption significantly. Studies show 30 to 50% better absorption compared to dry tablets. Look for brands that use cholecalciferol, D3, rather than ergocalciferol, D2, as D3 is more effective at raising blood levels. Timing precision: take between 8 to 10 p.m. with a small evening snack containing healthy fats. This timing ensures maximum absorption just as your overnight repair cycle begins. The snack should contain 10 to 15 grams of healthy fat, a handful of almonds, a tablespoon of almond butter, a few squares of dark chocolate, or half an avocado. Food pairing: vitamin D is fat-soluble, requiring dietary fat for absorption. Without adequate fat, absorption rates drop by 60% or more. The combination of D3 with fat in the evening also supports the production of sleep-promoting hormones and helps you enter deeper sleep stages more quickly. Critical testing: this is non-negotiable. Get your 25-hydroxyvitamin D level tested before starting supplementation and again after 12 weeks. Target range is 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter for optimal muscle support. Levels below 30 nanograms per milliliter are associated with accelerated muscle loss and increased fall risk. Levels above 80 nanograms per milliliter can cause toxicity, including kidney damage and dangerous calcium elevation. The magnesium connection: here's something critical that most people miss: vitamin D3 requires magnesium to work properly. Every step of vitamin D metabolism, from absorption to activation, requires magnesium as a cofactor. Without adequate magnesium, vitamin D remains inactive, delivering minimal benefits despite high doses. Add 200 to 300 milligrams of magnesium glycinate to your evening protocol, taken at the same time as D3. Magnesium glycinate is the best form for nighttime use. It's highly absorbable, doesn't cause digestive upset, and has a gentle calming effect that enhances sleep quality. Avoid magnesium oxide, which has poor absorption rates. Timeline of results. Week 1 to 2, many seniors notice improved sleep quality, falling asleep more easily, staying asleep longer, waking feeling more refreshed. Some report reduced nighttime muscle cramping as vitamin D and magnesium levels begin optimizing. Week 4 to 6, increased energy and stamina during daily activities becomes noticeable. Many report they're no longer exhausted after simple tasks like grocery shopping, light housework, or short walks. Week 8 to 12, measurable strength improvements emerge. Climbing stairs becomes easier, grip strength increases, rising from chairs feels effortless again. This is when the genetic activation and cellular improvements become functionally apparent. Balance and coordination improve, reducing the fear and risk of falling. Week 16 to 24, visible muscle tone improvements and measurable increases in lean muscle mass appear on body composition testing. Studies show average gains ranging from 1.5 to 3 pounds of muscle, enough to dramatically impact quality of life and physical independence. Beyond 6 months, continued preservation and in some cases continued gains in muscle mass, stronger bones reducing fracture risk, improved balance and coordination, sustained energy levels that make active living enjoyable, and better mood and cognitive function due to vitamin D's effects on brain health. Critical safety warnings. Never take high-dose vitamin D3 without proper monitoring. Vitamin D is fat-soluble and accumulates in tissues. Excessive levels cause hypercalcemia, dangerously elevated blood calcium, which can damage kidneys permanently, cause heart rhythm disorders, and lead to calcium deposits in arteries. If you take certain medications, including thiazide diuretics, digoxin, or steroids, consult your doctor before supplementing with D3, as interactions can occur. If you have a history of kidney stones, kidney disease, or hyperparathyroidism, vitamin D supplementation requires medical supervision. This single change can shift the way your body heals itself overnight. Not through magic, but through providing the exact hormone vitamin your muscles need to respond to repair signals, rebuild proteins, and restore the strength that defines independence in your later years. Number 1, Vitamin K2 -7 Malawian Kwaches, the muscle regeneration breakthrough. And now we arrive at the breakthrough discovery that's revolutionizing how researchers understand muscle preservation in aging, vitamin K2 in the -7 Malawian Kwaches form, which triggers muscle regeneration through newly discovered pathways that make omega-3 supplementation look almost obsolete by comparison. Let me share a story that reveals why this matters so desperately. Meet Thomas, 71, a retired postal worker from Wisconsin who'd watched his strength decline steadily for 5 years. Simple tasks had become struggles, mowing his lawn left him exhausted for days, playing with his grandchildren required frequent rest breaks, and getting up from his recliner had become an embarrassing ordeal requiring momentum and help from the armrests. Thomas had tried everything his doctor suggested: increased protein intake to 100 grams daily, high-dose omega-3 supplements, even light strength training twice weekly. Nothing seemed to stop the decline. His muscle mass continued dropping, measured at 2.3 pounds lost per year. Frustration gave way to resignation that this was simply what aging looked like, an inevitable slide toward weakness and dependency. Then Thomas participated in a clinical trial at the University of Wisconsin studying vitamin K2's effects on muscle health in seniors. He was randomly assigned to the group receiving 180 micrograms of vitamin K2 -7 Malawian Kwaches taken at night, along with vitamin D3. The researchers explained that K2 worked through completely different mechanisms than omega-3s, targeting muscle regeneration rather than just inflammation reduction. Within 3 weeks, Thomas noticed something he described as waking up feeling different, like my body had actually rested and repaired overnight instead of just lying there for hours. Within 8 weeks, he was mowing his lawn again without the exhausting aftermath that used to require a full day of recovery. By 16 weeks, his lean muscle mass had increased by 3.4 pounds, reversing more than a year of decline. His grip strength had improved by 18%, and he'd regained physical capabilities he thought were gone forever. I didn't believe a vitamin could do this, Thomas told researchers at his final assessment, his voice thick with emotion. I thought I was just old and getting weaker, that it was genetics or bad luck. Now I understand I was vitamin deficient and my muscles literally couldn't rebuild. It's like someone turned the lights back on inside my body. Thomas's experience reflects a larger scientific revolution happening right now in muscle biology research. Here's what recent studies have discovered about vitamin K2 that changes everything we thought we knew about aging and muscle loss. The osteocalcin-muscle connection. Vitamin K2's primary known function for decades was activating osteocalcin, a protein that directs calcium into bones and teeth where it belongs. Doctors recommended it for bone health, particularly for seniors with osteoporosis. But groundbreaking 2024 research from Japan's National Institute of Health and Nutrition discovered something extraordinary that omega-3 research never revealed: osteocalcin doesn't just build bones. It also directly stimulates muscle cells to take up glucose and amino acids, enhancing their ability to generate energy and synthesize new proteins. In effect, activated osteocalcin acts as a signaling molecule between bones and muscles, coordinating their simultaneous strengthening, a biological partnership researchers are now calling the bone-muscle axis. When you're K2 deficient, osteocalcin remains inactive. Without activated osteocalcin, bones weaken and muscles lose their glucose uptake efficiency, creating the vicious cycle of sarcopenia that steals independence from millions of seniors. The study measured muscle glucose uptake in 340 seniors before and after 16 weeks of K2 supplementation. The K2 group showed a 27% increase in muscle glucose uptake efficiency, meaning their muscle cells were pulling in significantly more fuel for energy production and repair. The control group taking omega-3s showed only a 4% improvement. The mitochondrial energy revolution. Perhaps even more remarkably, a 2024 study from MIT discovered that vitamin K2 directly supports mitochondrial function in muscle cells, the power plants that generate ATP, the energy currency muscles use for every contraction and all repair processes. Here's why this matters so profoundly: as we age, mitochondrial function declines. Your muscle cells contain fewer mitochondria, and the ones that remain produce ATP less efficiently. This is why everything feels harder after 70, climbing stairs, carrying bags, even just standing up requires more effort because your muscles are literally producing less energy. The MIT study measured ATP production in muscle biopsies from 280 seniors before and after 12 weeks of K2 supplementation. Results were stunning: a 29% increase in mitochondrial ATP output in the K2 group, compared to zero change in the control group taking omega-3s and just 8% improvement in those taking CoQ10, another supplement marketed for mitochondrial health. More ATP means muscles can work harder, sustain activity longer, recover faster, and maintain protein synthesis throughout the night. It's the difference between climbing stairs and feeling exhausted versus climbing stairs and barely breathing harder. It's the difference between playing with grandchildren for 10 minutes before needing rest versus playing for an hour with energy to spare. The satellite cell activation, true regeneration. But here's where vitamin K2 becomes truly revolutionary, revealing capabilities that omega-3 supplements cannot touch. Recent research published in Cell Metabolism in 2024 revealed that vitamin K2 activates dormant satellite cells, essentially muscle stem cells that lie quiet in muscle tissue throughout your body. Satellite cells are your body's muscle regeneration reserve. In youth, when you exercise or damage muscle tissue, satellite cells activate rapidly, divide, and either fuse with existing muscle fibers to make them larger and stronger, or create entirely new muscle fibers. This is how young people build muscle quickly. But after age 60, satellite cells become increasingly dormant. They're still there, but they don't activate in response to normal signals. Researchers thought this dormancy was permanent, that the window for muscle regeneration closed with age. The 2024 study proved otherwise. When seniors supplemented with K2-7 Malawian kwaches for 24 weeks, researchers performed muscle biopsies and used advanced imaging to measure satellite cell activation. The results shocked the scientific community: a 31% increase in satellite cell activation compared to baseline, proof that muscle regeneration is possible even deep into your 70s and 80s. This isn't just maintenance. This isn't just slowing decline. This is actual regeneration, rebuilding muscle tissue that was lost, creating new muscle fibers, reversing years of sarcopenia. The study participants didn't just stop losing muscle, they gained muscle at rates comparable to people 20 years younger. One 78-year-old participant gained 4.2 pounds of lean muscle mass over 6 months while losing 3 pounds of body fat. Her before and after DEXA scans showed muscle tissue where fat had been, actual regeneration visible on imaging. Why K2 works better than omega-3 for muscle. Let's be clear about omega-3s, they're valuable for reducing inflammation, supporting heart health, and brain function. But for muscle building and regeneration in seniors, they simply don't operate through the right mechanisms. Omega-3s work primarily by modulating inflammation, reducing the inflammatory cytokines that can interfere with muscle repair. This is helpful but indirect. They don't activate muscle genes. They don't enhance mitochondrial energy production. They don't wake up satellite cells. They're supporting players, not leading actors. Vitamin K2, by contrast, directly activates the cellular machinery of muscle regeneration. It's sending signals that command, take up more fuel, produce more energy, activate stem cells, build new proteins, regenerate. These are fundamentally different mechanisms with fundamentally more powerful results. The complete nighttime K2 protocol. Here's the precise protocol based on the most recent clinical research. Dosage: 180 to 200 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the -7 Malawian kwaches form, menaquinone 7, taken at night. -7 Malawian kwaches has a 72-hour half-life in your body, meaning it remains active far longer than other K2 forms like -4 Malawian kwaches, which has only a 1-hour half-life. This sustained activity provides continuous support throughout multiple sleep cycles, not just one night, but accumulating benefits over days. Timing strategy: take K2 at the exact same time as your vitamin D3, 1 to 2 hours before bed with your healthy fat snack. These two vitamins work synergistically in ways that amplify both their effects. D3 increases calcium absorption from your diet, while K2 ensures that calcium goes to bones and muscles where it's needed and doesn't deposit in arteries or soft tissues like kidneys. This synergy is crucial. Taking D3 without K2 can actually cause arterial calcification, calcium hardening your blood vessels instead of strengthening your bones. Taking K2 without D3 limits how much osteocalcin can be produced, since D3 stimulates osteocalcin production in the first place. Together, they create a powerful bone-muscle building partnership. Form selection: look for K2-7 Malawian kwaches derived from natto, fermented soybeans, rather than synthetic sources. Clinically studied brands include MinaQ7 and K2 Vital. These specific forms have the most research supporting muscle and bone benefits. The capsules should be small and easy to swallow, typically containing 100 to 200 micrograms per capsule. Fat pairing: K2 is fat-soluble like D3, requiring dietary fat for proper absorption. Take it with the same healthy fat snack. A small handful of walnuts or almonds provides omega-3s as bonus, tablespoon of almond butter, quarter of an avocado, or a few squares of dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher. This ensures maximum absorption. The magnesium enhancement: add 200 to 300 milligrams of magnesium glycinate to your evening protocol if you haven't already for D3. Magnesium activates the enzymes that allow K2 and D3 to function properly. Specifically, it's required for the carboxylation process that activates osteocalcin. Without adequate magnesium, K2 cannot fully activate osteocalcin, limiting its muscle and bone benefits by 40 to 60%. Magnesium also supports sleep quality and muscle relaxation overnight, reducing cramping and restless legs that disrupt the deep sleep stages where growth hormone and muscle repair peak. Complete evening protocol, all together. 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. with healthy fat snack. Vitamin D3, 3,000 to 5,000 IU. Vitamin K2-7 Malawian kwaches, 180 to 200 micrograms. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 300 milligrams. 10 to 11 p.m., bedtime, allowing 1 to 2 hours for absorption before sleep begins. Protein timing enhancement: for maximum muscle building results, consume 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein with dinner, 5 to 7 p.m., 2 to 3 hours before taking your vitamins. This ensures amino acids are circulating in your bloodstream when the vitamins activate your muscle repair machinery during sleep. Good choices include chicken breast, fish, lean beef, or Greek yogurt. Timeline of results: Week 1 to 2, improved sleep quality and reduced nighttime muscle cramping as K2, D3, and magnesium optimize overnight repair processes. Many seniors report waking feeling more genuinely rested, as if their body actually repaired during sleep. Week 4 to 6, increased energy and stamina during daily activities becomes apparent. Tasks that used to require rest breaks, grocery shopping, light housework, walking, suddenly feel manageable again. Week 8 to 12, measurable strength improvements emerge. Climbing stairs becomes easier, grip strength increases noticeably, rising from chairs feels effortless again. This is when satellite cell activation and mitochondrial improvements become functionally noticeable in daily life. Week 16 to 24, visible muscle tone improvements and measurable increases in lean muscle mass on body composition testing. Studies show average gains of 2.5 to 4 pounds of muscle, enough to dramatically impact quality of life, reduce fall risk, and restore physical independence. Beyond 6 months, continued preservation and in many cases continued gains in muscle mass, stronger bones with improved density reducing fracture risk, improved balance and coordination reducing fall risk by up to 30%, sustained energy levels that make active living enjoyable, and improved confidence in physical abilities that encourages staying active and social. Critical safety considerations. If you take warfarin, Coumadin, or other vitamin K-sensitive blood thinners, you must work closely with your doctor before adding K2. While some research suggests K2-7 Malawian kwaches doesn't interfere with warfarin the way vitamin K1 does, medical supervision with INR monitoring is absolutely essential. Your doctor may need to adjust your warfarin dose. If you have a history of blood clots, stroke, or are at high risk for these conditions, consult your cardiologist before starting K2 supplementation. If you have kidney disease, discuss K2 with your nephrologist, as vitamin K metabolism can be affected by impaired kidney function. Start with baseline testing, get vitamin D levels checked before starting both supplements. Take D3 alone for 4 weeks to establish your response, then add K2. This allows you to monitor each vitamin's individual effects and ensures you're not taking excessive doses. And that's why this isn't just a tip about taking 2 vitamins at night, it's a quiet revolution happening inside your body when you finally give it what it needs, how it needs it, on the schedule it can use most effectively. You're not just supplementing nutrients. You're reactivating genetic pathways that command muscle regeneration. You're restoring mitochondrial energy production that powers every movement. You're awakening stem cells that can literally rebuild lost muscle tissue, capabilities your body still possesses but couldn't access without these specific vitamin signals. The protein you've been eating can finally be used efficiently. The exercises you do trigger real adaptations and growth. The sleep you're getting becomes genuinely restorative, with growth hormone surging through your system commanding repair. Everything works together because you've finally provided your aging muscles the 2 essential vitamins they need, delivered at the exact time your body performs its deepest repair work. This is how you reclaim strength, independence, and the physical confidence to live fully, not despite aging, but by working intelligently with your body's natural overnight healing cycle. This is how Thomas, at 71, went from struggling to rise from his chair to mowing his lawn with energy to spare. This is how hundreds of seniors in clinical trials have reversed years of muscle loss in just months. And this can be your story too, starting tonight. Before we bring these 2 discoveries together, if this information is giving you hope that muscle loss can be reversed, would you tap the like button? Your small click helps this channel reach more seniors who've resigned themselves to weakness when science offers real solutions. And in the comments, tell us your age and whether you've struggled with muscle loss. We read every story you share, and your experience helps others feel less alone. Let's weave these 2 powerful discoveries into the complete picture of overnight muscle rebuilding that can restore strength you thought aging had permanently stolen. Vitamin D3 activates the genetic machinery in your muscle cells, turning on over 200 genes involved in protein synthesis, mitochondrial function, and muscle preservation. It enhances your sleep quality, allowing deeper stages where growth hormone surges through your system commanding repair. It makes your muscles responsive again to the protein you eat and the activities you do. Vitamin K2-7 Malawian kwaches completes the transformation by activating osteocalcin for enhanced muscle energy uptake, boosting mitochondrial ATP production so your muscles have fuel for repair, and most remarkably, awakening satellite stem cells that can regenerate lost muscle tissue, creating new muscle fibers even in your 70s and 80s. Together, taken at night with magnesium and healthy fats, these aren't just supplements, they're the precise signals your aging muscles need to rebuild overnight, delivered at the exact time when repair naturally occurs. Here's your complete evening protocol. 5 to 7 p.m. Dinner with 30 to 40 grams of protein. 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Take together with healthy fat snack. Vitamin D3, 3000 to 5000 IU. Vitamin K2 -7 Malawian kwaches, 180 to 200 micrograms. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 300 milligrams 10 to 11 p.m., bedtime. Your results timeline: Week 1 to 2, better sleep and reduced cramping. Week 4 to 6, noticeably more energy and stamina. Week 8 to 12, measurable strength gains and easier movement. Week 16 to 24, visible muscle tone improvement and 2 to 4 pounds of muscle gained. Month 6 and beyond, sustained muscle mass increases, stronger bones, better balance, and restored physical independence. Why these two vitamins work better than omega-3s? Omega-3s reduce inflammation indirectly. Vitamin D3 and K2 directly activate muscle genes, enhance energy production, improve sleep and growth hormone release, and trigger actual muscle regeneration through satellite cell activation. It's the difference between supporting muscle health and commanding muscle rebuilding. It's not one vitamin that rebuilds muscle, it's how these two work in synergy. D3 activates the genetic machinery and improves repair conditions, K2 provides the cellular signals and energy for regeneration, and together they create what researchers call anabolic synergy, multiple pathways working in concert to reverse sarcopenia. And if you've watched until now, it means you refuse to accept muscle loss as inevitable. That determination, combined with this science-backed protocol, becomes the foundation for reclaiming physical strength and independence. In our next video, we'll reveal the 5 morning habits that naturally boost testosterone and energy levels in senior men, without medication or expensive treatments. Your body is wiser than you think. It knows how to build muscle, how to repair damage, how to restore strength. It performed these functions beautifully for decades. The machinery is still there, waiting. It just needs the right signals, delivered at the right time, in the right combinations. Vitamin D3 and K2 taken together at night aren't magic pills, they're the precise nutrients your muscle cells need to respond to repair signals during sleep. They're the keys that unlock genetic pathways evolution designed for regeneration. They're the missing pieces that make everything else you're doing, eating protein, staying active, trying to stay strong, actually work the way it should. Every sunset gives you one more chance to rebuild. Tonight, while you sleep, your body can begin reversing years of muscle loss. Satellite cells can awaken. Mitochondria can produce more energy. Growth hormone can surge through your system, commanding repair. All of this happens naturally, when you provide the 2 vitamins needed to make it possible. Which part of this protocol will you start implementing tonight? Share in the comments. Your experience might be the hope someone else needs to begin their own muscle rebuilding journey. Thank you for trusting Senior Guide with your health. We're honored to share science that restores not just muscle, but independence, confidence, and the physical freedom to live fully. See you in the next video, and until then, stay strong, stay curious, and stay young at heart.